Good morning. Can you all hear me okay? See me okay? Yes. Okay, great. So I know sometimes when we start in a seated position, it can be uncomfortable. So grab a block if that is you. I'm also going to offer that we can start in hero's pose today, which means that you are seated on your block. And if you don't have a block, it's okay. You can just sit on your feet. But if you're sitting on a block, you squeeze the block between your inner ankles, and you just sit down on the block and let the inner knees come together, okay? If you don't have a block, you can just sit on the tops of your feet, and if that's not comfortable, you can sit cross-legged, and if this is uncomfortable for you, same thing, you sit up on a block, okay? So find your seat, establish your seat, whichever version you're choosing today, and it's helpful if you have a strap close by, near, okay? So whichever position you've decided to settle in, close your eyes. Let your hands rest either on your lap or on the inside of your knees, depending on how you're sitting. And start to establish your connection, your foundation to the earth. So start to feel whatever your sitting bones are pressing down into, whether it's a block or whether it's the floor. And start to establish the orientation of your pelvis. So it should feel like your pelvis is even on all four sides, or the whole entire cylinder of your pelvis is even. And then start to take some deep breaths. And in these breaths, you're just checking in with yourself. You're just checking on how does your breath feel today? How busy or focused is your mind able to be? How does your energy feel? And so the theme of today's practice is that everything that we do on this mat, every breath that we take, and every movement that we make, and even the movements that we choose not to make, it all is a sort of a prayer. It all is a sort of a way to get deeper into ourselves, deeper into our authentic self, so that we can ascend and aspire to our high self. So as we come into this practice, we invite in that sense of reverence. We invite in that place of personal power to really claim this time as a time that's not a workout, it's a work in. It's a time and a place to become more grounded in ourselves. So for the next minute or so, I'm going to be silent. And I want you to see if you can focus entirely on the sensation of the breath. And what I want you to focus on is, as you inhale, feeling your spine get longer, feeling as if the crown of your head was being elevated towards the sky. And every time you exhale, imagine that the sides of the cylinder of your torso were firming in to support this new length that you've created. So 1 minute starts now. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. And from this place of prayer, from this place of deeply connecting to your own heart center, find your prayer, or find your intention, or find a grounding thought or a word of the day that will be your guiding light throughout your practice. And even if you don't do all of the movements, just being here on your mat and visualizing the movement and feeling your breath is enough. And so once you've formed that intention or that prayer in your heart, slowly allow your eyes to open. Good. Release your palms and find your strap. You're going to take your strap into your left hand. Your left hand is going to go straight up towards the ceiling. Take your right hand to the tricep and revolve the tricep forward so your shoulder blade moves towards the front of your body. And then bend your arm back behind you with your elbow pointing straight up towards the ceiling. Take your right arm, reach it straight out towards the right. Feel your collarbone getting wider, and then slowly bring your right hand behind your back and find your strap. Don't try to go for your maximum, just find a place where there's a little bit of tautness into your strap. And then keep rolling that right collarbone open and keep trying to point your left elbow up towards the ceiling a little bit more. And just breathe here. Feeling the rooting down of your sitting bones, but feeling the levitation, the upliftment, as if your tips of your ears were pointing straight up towards the ceiling. Good. And then slowly release the strap and switch sides. Take the right hand up. Revolve your tricep. So do that action of really teaching your arm to do that external rotation. And then take your hand behind your back. Good. And reach your left arm out to the left. Feel that arm is getting longer, that collarbone is getting longer. And then slowly bring that hand behind your back. And this is really an opportunity for you to see what your tendencies are. So are you aggressive right off the bat? Do you approach these things with a sense of trepidation or fear? How can you find your sweet spot where you feel comfortable with where you choose to place your body? Be aware that you're not sticking your front ribs out, so firm those bottom ribs in so it feels as if the back of your body becomes a little bit taller. And think about widening through that left collarbone. Keep your breath fluid, steady. Remembering that every breath is like a gift. It's the gift of your life in this moment yet again. So there's a prayerful receiving for each and every breath. Good. And then you can slowly release the strap. Just place it aside towards the front of your yoga mat. We're going to use it again later. And if you don't have a strap, don't worry about it. You can always just use your t-shirt or something. Good. And then inhale your arms straight up to the sky as if you were holding a block up above you. Imagine you were trying to squeeze that block as if you could compress the block, but soften your inner upper shoulders and lift your back ribs up away from your kidneys. So see if the thumb side of your hand can get a little bit longer. Take one more inhale for length, and then as you exhale, slowly start to revolve towards the right. And then take your left hand across to the outside of your knee, whether you're seated or on your block, and just coming into a gentle twist. As you inhale, feel the length of your body from your sitting bones all the way up to the top of your head. And as you exhale, feel that left rib trying to revolve towards your belly button. On your next inhale breath, look forward, take your arms back up towards the sky. Find that block you're compressing, but soften your inner upper shoulders and see if you can get more lift out of your torso. So we create that sense of alertness in the spine. Take another inhale, and as you exhale, start to revolve towards the left. Take your right hand across, take your left fingertips behind you, but make sure you don't scrunch down. Stay nice and tall. Inhale, get a little bit longer. And as you exhale, slowly allow your spine to revolve. Right rib cage moves towards your belly button, moves towards the midline of your body. Good. And then look back towards the front. Inhale your arms back up to the sky. Join your palms together. This time, firm those bottom ribs in. And as you exhale, bring your hands together in front of your heart. Good. Now you're going to take your hands down in front of you. Move your block aside if you had a block, and come to all fours position, but separate your knees out really wide. So we're going into a froggy shape right away. So the ankles are in line with the knees. You can lower down onto your forearms and start to rock your hips back and forth. So you'll start to feel the inner groins opening up, the lower back opening up. So we're going to be focusing on hips today and a little bit of shoulders as well. You can tell we're already getting into the shoulders in the beginning. I'm just getting into the hips a little bit here. Good, and then find that place where you feel a stretch and just marinate there. And as you marinate there, start to lift from that line, from your pubic bone to your navel. Start to elongate your tailbone. And breathe. Good. And then you'll walk it back up onto your hands. You'll walk your knees closer together. If you had your body in the same orientation as me, come to face the front of your yoga mat. Setting your hands up directly underneath your shoulders, setting your knees up directly underneath your hips. Start to make those big circles so your shoulders and your hips are incorporated. And so you can combine cat and cow through here. You're really just looking for a movement where it feels like you're opening up everything in your entire body. Yeah, nice, you guys. And circle the opposite direction as well. Really take your time, really feel how you can push the floor away, how your body moves in response to that. Good, and then find your way finally to that neutral spine. So you can trace the midline of your body from the center of your skull straight down through the center of your pelvis. And you feel your front body hugging in to support your low body. Tuck your toes under. Lift your kneecaps 1 inch above the floor. Imagine you were squeezing your hands back towards your knees and trying to squeeze your toes towards the front of the mat. So you really feel your belly muscles kicking on here. Press the inner palms down into the floor. See if you can lift up out of your armpits. Take one more inhale. And as you exhale, slowly start to lengthen your hips up and back into downward facing dog. See if you can tilt your sitting bones up a little bit more, but then soften your front ribs in so it feels as if your shoulder blades are creating a container for your rib cage to settle inside of. And start to shift your weight from side to side. So you let your hips fall out to the side just a little bit so you feel stretch from one side of the body to the other. It's just a very gentle shifting. Good, and then one more time, find the midline of your body. So your ears are in line with your arms. You're pressing through the inner part of your palm as if you could make your index finger continue to grow longer. Keep reaching your hips back, keep spinning your inner thighs towards the back wall. Take one more inhale here. And then as you exhale, flutter your lips. On your next inhale breath, shift forward to the top of a push-up. And as you come to the top of the push-up, feel as if the sides of your body could compress towards the midline. As you press into the inner palms, lengthen through the inseams of your arms, elongate your tailbone, spin your inner thighs up towards the ceiling. Really feeling this position of strength and the prayerfulness of sticking with it. Take one more inhale, and as you exhale, lengthen your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Imagine you could stretch your yoga mat out underneath you. Inhale, shift forward to the top of a push-up again. As you exhale, take your hips up and back, downward facing dog. So these, of course, can be at any tempo that works in your body today. So continue shifting from plank to downward facing dog, whether that's one more time or a couple more times, depending on your tempo. Don't worry about it, just find your rhythm. And then the next time you're in a plank pose, drop your knees to the yoga mat. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, lower your body halfway down so your elbows meet the sides of your rib cage. Make sure that you're not pinching your shoulder blades together. Inhale, press the floor away, press back up to the top. Good. Exhale, lower halfway down. Inhale, push the floor away, press back up to the top. This time you're going to lower your belly all the way down onto the mat. So as
as you're exhaling, use the entire length of that breath to lower yourself all the way down. Good. And then once you land, take your hands out wider than your yoga mat onto your floor. So your hands are in line with your shoulders, your elbows are pointing up towards the ceiling. Imagine you could pull the floor backwards, roll your shoulder heads backwards, press every toenail down into the floor, and lift the top of your sternum away from the floor. Imagine that you were a Care Bear and you could shine something out through your heart. So really imagine you could press your heart forward. Take one more inhale, and as you exhale, roll it back down. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, roll up. Feel that coiling action of your upper spine. You can press into your fingertips a little bit. Exhale, release it back down. Beautiful. One more time. Inhale, find your sweet spot here. Find where you feel strength, where you feel evolution, where you feel your breath. Good. And as you exhale, release it back down. Place your hands directly underneath your elbows. Pull your yoga mat backwards as you inhale. Peel your chest up off of the floor. Roll your shoulder heads away from the floor. Lengthen through your legs. And as you exhale, release back down. Good. So you're going to stay on your knees. You're going to engage your belly muscles. And on your inhale breath, press yourself right up to the modified push-up position. And as you exhale, drop your hips back into child's pose. Let your forehead rest on your mat or rest on a block. And take a few breaths here, really breathing into the back of your body and reminding yourself that child's pose, generally, we can take child's pose when we have an advanced practice. We know to take child's pose when we lose our breath, when we feel like we can't stay connected or focused or steady in our breath. So I want to remind you guys that child's pose has a place in an advanced practice. And if you're moving towards an advanced practice, practice child's pose a few times today. Make a choice to recalibrate here. Good. And then as you're ready, come back up into a downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward to the top of a push-up. Feel free to drop your knees or not. As you exhale, lower halfway down. Make sure you're not pinching your shoulder blades. As you inhale, baby cobra. And as you exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Again, inhale, shift forward to the top of a push-up. Exhale, lower halfway down and pause. Release your body the rest of the way down as you inhale, baby cobra. Pull your yoga mat backwards, lift your chest. Good, and as you exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Good, walk your feet forward towards the front of your mat. Let it be a meditation, so take many steps. Move slowly. And then when you land at the top of your yoga mat, separate your feet hips distance. Clasp your opposing elbows, release the crown of your head down. And gently sway your body from side to side. And think about what you can release, what might be stored in your body. Good. Place your fingertips on the floor in front of you. Take your left foot, circle it around behind your right foot and bring it over to the right side. So you line up pinky toe to pinky toe. Your legs are crossed, your left leg is behind your right leg. You're going to start to bend your right knee a little bit more and spin your left arm up to the sky. So you feel that stretch through the IT band of your left leg. You might feel it through your torso, through your spine. See if you can lengthen your chest forward a little bit more and spiral the left shoulder on top of the right shoulder. Good. Slowly circle your left arm back down. Step your left foot back to the left-hand side of the mat. And then cross your right foot behind your left foot. So you line up pinky toe to pinky toe. Bend your left knee a little bit more, the one that's in front. And spin your right arm up towards the sky. Try to elongate through your thoracic spines. Try to revolve open a little bit more as you really press down that right foot into your yoga mat. Good, and then slowly release your right arm down. Step your right foot back to the right hand side of the yoga mat. As you inhale, lengthen your chest forward. See just how far you can go. Lengthen through the sides of the waist. And as you exhale, fold back in. Root to rise, press down into your feet, reach your arms, circle them all the way up to the ceiling. And as you exhale, bring your hands back together in front of your heart. And remembering your intention, your word of the day, your prayer, whatever it is that grounds you and gives you a direction to move in. And then devote this sun salutation to whatever that is. So release your fingertips down to the floor. On your next inhale breath, circle your arms, ascend, reach up. As you exhale, hinge and fill the breath all the way out. As you inhale, lengthen your chest forward. As you exhale, step back to plank pose. Use that exhale breath to lower halfway down for chaturanga. Use your inhale breath to lift up baby cobra or upward facing dog. If you're in upward facing dog, try to pull your heart forward but spin your inner thighs up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, take your hips up and back into downward facing dog. And use this time you spend in downward facing dog to check in with yourself every single time. Connect to your breath. Keep lifting up out of your foundation, so find the points on the floor where you can continue to stretch and lengthen out of. Good, and then at the end of your next breath, bend your knees, look forward, step walker, jump to the top of your mat. On your inhale, lengthen your chest forward. On your exhale, fold back down. As you inhale, root to rise. Feel your roots, feel just how much you can lengthen out of those roots. And as you exhale, return to that place right at your heart center, right where your prayer resides. Again, inhale, circle the arms, reach up. Exhale, hinge and fold that breath all the way out as if you were bowing in humility to whatever that high self has requested of you. Inhale, lengthen the chest forward. Exhale, make your way back, slowly lowering through chaturanga on your exhale. Slowly finding your way, even inhale into baby cobra or upward facing dog. And the same tempo exhale carries you back into downward facing dog. And downward facing dog becomes a contemplation. Downward facing dog becomes a time for you to really feel deeply. How am I feeling right now? What's coming up? What thoughts are coming up? What emotions are coming up? What pressures are coming up from within? What pressures do I put on myself? Good, so at the end of your next breath, bend your knees, look forward, step, walk or jump to the top of your mat. As you inhale, lengthen your chest forward. And as you exhale, fold back in. On your inhale, root to rise, gather all of that intention up above you. And as you exhale, bring it straight down into your heart. Good. And let's take one more round. Inhale, circle the arms, reach up. Exhale, hinge from your hips, fold that breath all the way out. As you inhale, offer your heart. As you exhale, make your way back to the vinyasa. You guys all know that you can always skip these transitions. Finding your way back to downward facing dog, arms in line with the ears, extending out through your pointer finger, feeling as if your heels could magnetize down towards your yoga mat. Good, and then you're gonna inhale your right leg straight back behind you. So make sure you're nice and even this time. All 5 toes pointing straight down towards the floor. As you exhale, shift forward, curl your knee in towards your chest, push the floor away. We're gonna be here for a few breaths. So continue to press down, continue to suction your knee up a little higher, but drop your hips a little lower. Shoulders away from the ears, sternum reaches forward. Step your foot between your hands. Good. So you're gonna try to firm that outer right hip in towards the midline as you spin your left inner thigh up towards the ceiling. Think of scissoring your legs towards one another. And then drop your hips a little bit lower into this low lunge. Good. And so the hips are dropping, but the counteraction is that the legs are scissoring. Lift up onto your middle finger so your belly is not crashing down on your thigh. Your belly has a few inches between your belly and your thigh. Good, and then stretch your arms out to the sides, palms facing down. On your next inhale breath, circle your arms out in front of you. Reach through your fingertips. Good, and then bring your hands down, left hand down, right arm spins up towards the ceiling, coming into a twist. So imagine the very top of your inner thighs were trying to touch one another. You can always drop that back knee down if necessary. Always listening to your body. This is not a performance. This is an exercise in listening deeply. So take one more inhale. And as you exhale, circle your right arm back down. Step your right foot back to meet your left. Option to take a vinyasa. Option to move straight back into downward facing dog. Inhale your left leg straight back behind you, all 5 toes looking straight down. And notice, did your weight fall off towards the right? So stay committed to that midline. As you exhale, shift forward, curl your knee in towards your chest, push the floor away. Keep suctioning your knee up a little higher, drop your hips a little lower, but see if you can stretch your sternum forward. Good, and then step your foot between your hands. So you're scissoring the legs, you're firming that outer left hip crease in and back as the right inner thigh spins up. Let your pelvis get heavy, but keep your pelvic floor engaged. Lift up onto your middle fingers. Good. Make sure that your belly is not compressed onto your thigh. Extend your arms out to the sides, palms facing down. See if you could touch the sides of the room. And then turn your palms to face one another. Circle your arms forward. Get really long as if you could extend all the way out of that back leg. Good, and then the right hand comes down. Circle that left arm up to the sky, coming into your twist. Let your breath steady out here. Good, keep trying to lift that left shoulder up a little bit higher. Good, and then circle your left arm back down. And step your left foot back to meet your right. Either take a vinyasa or move straight back into downward facing dog. Take a few breaths in downward facing dog to recalibrate. Good, and then inhale your right leg straight back behind you. And as you exhale, curl your knee in towards your chest. Pause here for just a breath. Push the floor away. And step your foot between your hands. You're going to seal your left foot down with your left toes facing the left front corner of your yoga mat. Traditionally, this is taught heel to heel alignment, but you can make it a little bit wider. Instead of being heel to heel, you can take your left foot out to the left a little bit more for a little more stability. So we're moving into Virabhadrasana 1. Rise up, take your arms up to the ceiling. Imagine lengthening up the front of your spine. Reach your left arm forward and imagine someone was pulling your left wrist forward to help you square off the hips a little bit more, square off the shoulders, and then lift the left arm back up to the sky. Good. So you're going to straighten your right leg. You're going to stand a little bit more on your back leg, your left leg. So think about spinning your left inner thigh towards the back wall. And then keep that strong anchor. Keep your fingertips reaching straight up and re-bend your right knee into Warrior One. So you're pressing down through the outer edge of your left foot. Bring your palms to touch. Elevate your heart towards your hands. Soften your front ribs in. Good, and as you exhale, hands come down, step your right foot back. Take it through a vinyasa, or if it's not happening right now, if it doesn't feel accessible, straight back to downward facing dog. Inhale your left leg straight back behind you. As you exhale, shift forward, push the floor away, hold here for just a moment, calm face, and step your foot between your hands. So seal the outer edge of your right foot down, line up heel to heel or a little bit wider. Your right toes are facing the right front corner of your yoga mat. And as you inhale, rise up, take your arms up to the sky. So generally the tendency is to kind of sink into the lower back. So create that strength by thinking of lifting your pubic bone towards your navel. Reach your right arm forward. Imagine someone was pulling your wrist, and then take your right arm back up to the sky. Good, straighten your left leg. Stand a little bit more on that back right leg. Spin your right inner thigh towards the back wall so you've got strong anchor. Fingertips stay reaching, rebend the left knee. So that strong anchor, you make sure that you're supporting your lower back. Bring your palms to touch, look up, soften those bottom ribs in. See if you can lift the middle of your sternum up a little bit more. Good, and then as you exhale, bring your hands down, step back through a vinyasa or straight to dog. Take a moment to recalibrate in downward facing dog. And then inhale, take your right leg up towards the sky. As you exhale, slowly shift forward, curl your knee in towards your chest, step your foot between your hands. Seal the outer edge of your back foot down. So the same setup for warrior one. We're gonna go back into warrior one. Find your strap. It should be close to the front of your mat. Yeah? Rise up, taking your strap with you. My strap is very messy. You're gonna take the strap into your left hand. You're gonna take your left arm straight up to the sky, revolve your triceps forward, and take your arm behind your back. And then reach your right arm out to the right and find your strap again. So you're supporting with the front of your body, right? You're not letting the front of your body spill out. You're firming that front body in so that you have a strong cylinder through your torso. Feel that right collarbone continuing to get longer. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, slowly start to fold forward out over your leg. Good. Inhale, rise back up. Release your strap. Place it towards the front edge of your mat. And then heel toe your right foot towards the left side of your mat. Line up heel to arch alignment and come into warrior two. So your right knee is tracking right over the second and third toe. That right sitting bone is revolving underneath you. Bring your forearm to your thigh, bring your left hand to your hip, and try to roll your shoulder open with your forearm on your knee. Good. And then if you have that block, you take the block to the outside of your right foot, or you take your hand to the outside of your right foot. You keep rolling that left shoulder open. And then you circle that arm up and over your ear. Good. Keep trying to open up through your chest the entire time. Good. Now take your top arm back up to the sky. Listen carefully. You're going to lower your left arm down to the inside of your right foot. And you're going to walk your hands on the diagonal towards the left front corner of your mat. So you're reaching your arms to the inside of your right foot, but across from it. Yeah. Good. And then walk your hands back in. So your hands are both to the inside of your right foot. Revolve to the ball of your back foot. Drop down into that low lunge again. And then if you have that block to the outside, just move it aside. Heel toe your right foot over to the right. As you let the left side of your pelvis, the left front hip sink down, the right knee falls out to the right. So it's like a lizard pose here. You can always drop the back knee down if it's getting a little crazy. We're all gonna meet there in a second anyway. Good, and then drop your back knee down. Bend your back knee, reach around with your right arm and catch a hold of your ankle if it's available. Pull your heel in towards your tush and see if you can send your right shoulder blade through to the front of your body. Good, release your ankle. Circle your arm back around, heel toe your right foot back so that it's in the middle. And then step back to downward facing dog. You can always take a vinyasa if you need a little cleanse. Inhale your left leg up to the sky. And as you exhale, step your foot between your hands, setting up for warrior one. So heel to heel or a little bit wider. You grab your strap and you take your strap with you as you rise up. And you're gonna pass the strap into your right hand. Take your right arm straight up towards the ceiling, revolve your right tricep towards the front, and then drop your hand behind your back, circle your left arm around, and find a place where your strap is taut, but you're not sinking, you're not letting your front ribs stick out. You're keeping that strong cylindrical shape to your torso. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, feel where you're moving from. Start to lengthen forward. Like your elbow is pointing straight towards the front of the room. Good, and then as you inhale, rise back up. Feel the front of your body firming in. Good, and then release your strap and just place it again towards the front of your mat. We're not quite done with it yet. Heel toe your left foot towards the right, line up heel to arch alignment. Extend your arms for warrior two. Take a few breaths. Feel that left sitting bone rolling underneath you. And then bring your forearm to your thigh. Bring your right hand to your right hip and roll your chest open. Good. And then take your block, if you have it, move it to the outside of your left ankle and slide your hand down to the block, keeping your chest open. And then revolve your right arm over your ear as you press vigorously into the outer edge of your back foot. Keep trying to open up through your chest. Good, and bring your top arm back up to the sky. Walk your right arm down so it's to the inside of your right foot. Bring your left hand so that it's to the inside of your left foot. And then walk your hands towards the corner of your mat, towards the inside of your foot. So it might go all the way off towards the wood floor. So you need a nice big stretch into your left hip here. Take a few breaths. Good, and then walk your hands back in. So your hands are both to the inside of your left foot. Revolve to the ball of your back foot. Move your block aside. Heel toe your left foot out to the left a little bit. Let your left knee get heavy out towards the left. So lizard pose. With your back knee lifted, you can always put it down if you need to. And then let's all put that knee down. Bend your right knee, bring your heel towards your tush, reach back with your left, catch a hold of your ankle, pull your heel in towards your tush. It doesn't matter if you catch your ankle or not. Remember, just visualizing is enough. And breathing and staying in that prayerful presence. Good, and then release your ankle. Lift your back knee up, heel toe your left foot so that it's inside, and then step your right foot forward to meet your left foot to the top of your mat. As you inhale, lengthen your chest forward, and as you exhale, fold back down. Bend your knees, circle your arms, Gomukhasana, chair pose, sitting deeply into that chair. Reach through your fingertips, feel as if your arms were extensions of the sides of your body. Take one more inhale. And as you exhale, stand all the way up and bring your hands together in front of your heart. Good. So one more time, we're going to find that strap. Okay? We're going to just throw the strap over your left shoulder for now. Okay? sit down into a chair pose and cross your left ankle over your right knee. So it's like that hip stretch. It's like standing pigeon. Good, and then you're gonna take the strap in your left hand, take your left arm straight up to the sky, revolve your tricep, bring your hand behind your back, reach your right arm out, and then slowly find your strap. So we're doing a shoulder opener and a hip opener at the same time and a balance exercise. So we're just here to be present for the experience of how we show up, how we approach these things. So sit a little deeper, try to point your left elbow up towards the ceiling a little bit more. And without any judging how well this is going today or how poorly, we really just be here in the experience, even if we're wobbling. Good, start to stand all the way up. Release your arms, move the strap over your right shoulder, and sit your hips back down into that chair pose. Arms are extensions out of the sides of the body. Slowly start to lift your right foot off of the floor, cross your right ankle over your left knee. Make sure you're not letting that left knee dip in, so draw that outer left hip crease back. Good, and then take the strap in your right hand, straight up towards the ceiling, revolve your triceps so you make all the same steps, and then drop your hand behind your back and reach your left arm out to the left. Slowly take that arm behind your back. Find the strap, find a place where there's a little tautness and sit a little bit deeper. Calm expression on your face. Awareness moving through your entire body, even the body of your thoughts and your emotions, what you identify. Good, take one last breath here. And slowly start to stand up. Release your arms and place the strap aside. Good, now step out wide on your yoga mat. Align your second toes to the front and the back edges of your yoga mat so you know your feet are parallel. Inhale your arms up to the sky. Feel the sides of your body lifting up. And as you exhale, fold forward, hands to the floor. Good, now start to bend into your right knee as you try to push the floor towards the left. And then try to start to bend into your left knee as you start to push the floor towards the right. Good. We'll do that one more time in each direction. And then bring it back to the center. Good, so bend into your right knee, sit your hips down to the left, but this time swivel your left toes straight up towards the ceiling. You can place a block underneath your tush if you want to. This is Skandasana. Good, and then walk your hands across, sit down towards your left, swivel your right toes up towards the ceiling, place a block underneath your left butt cheek if you need to. Good, and then bring it back to the center. Good, and then walk your hands back behind your feet. Release the crown of your head down to the floor. Send energy up through the back of the legs. Good. And then walk your hands back underneath you. And heel toe your feet out a little bit wider. And then as you slowly walk your hands back behind you again, you're just gonna land in a straddle, hopefully. Just lower yourself down to the floor in a straddle position. So I missed my mat a little bit, so find your way onto your mat. Good. We'll just all take a moment to get there. Flex your toes straight up towards the ceiling. Inhale your arms up to the sky, and as you exhale, reach your left arm towards your right inner thigh. Reach your right arm towards your left toes. Good. Inhale back up to the top. And as you exhale, go the opposite way. Good. Inhale back up to the top. Exhale, side bend. Inhale, back up to the top. Exhale, side bend. Good. Inhale, back up to the top. And then bring your hands down. Bend your left knee so that the sole of your foot is moving towards the inner thigh of your right leg. And then turn your body towards your right leg and fold forward over that right leg. Good. Now lift your chest. Start to walk your hands back towards the center. Walk your hands towards your left leg. And you're going to basically revolve your body. So you're going to bring your left knee in towards your wrist. You're going to start to face the front of your mat. And you're going to bring your back right knee to a 90-degree angle. Yeah? And then just lower down onto your forearms here. So we're going to do a little bit of hip mobility from here. Rise up onto your fingertips. Yeah. And you're going to try to lift the ankle up off of the floor, keeping the knee down. The back ankle. And then lower it back down. Keep your ankle down. Try to lift your knee up off of the floor. And then place that down and see if you can lift your back leg. It's like an arabesque if you were a dancer. So you engage your core and you try to keep your shin parallel to the floor as you lift your back leg up. Maybe it doesn't lift. So just do that 3 times. Lift. Lift. You can feel that squeezing to the outer back hip. One more time. Lift. Good. Now you can either just rest here or you can revolve your back leg further and move into single pigeon. But you can also keep that 90-90 position and just lay down over your left leg. Let your breath stay steady. Remember, every breath that you take is dedicated to your intention, to your prayer, to your upliftment. Good. So slowly rise back up and revolve your right leg open again and turn to face that right leg. We're going to come right back to where we started. So fold forward over your right leg again. And just notice how things feel a little bit different. Good. Rise back up. Extend your left leg back out. Draw your right ankle to the inside of your left leg. Turn towards your left leg and fold over that left leg. Feel the movement of your breath, like a gentle current in a river. Good. And then you're going to walk your hands towards your right leg, right? And you're going to move your right knee closer to your right wrist. You're going to bring your left knee to that 90-degree angle, and then just lower down onto your forearms and square your torso off. Good. Press into your fingertips, lift your forearms up. Feel the length of your spine and the engagement. Try to lift your ankle up off of the floor, but keep your knee down. And then place your ankle back down and lift your knee up off the ground. We're talking about that back knee. And place it back down. Now your core is engaged. You're feeling the equal pressing down into both fingertips. You're going to try to lift that inner shin so that it's equidistant from the knee to the ankle to the floor. So it stays parallel. Do that 3 times. Lift, engage your core. You can feel that really strong contraction in the outer right hip. One more time. Lift it up. Good. And either find your way into a Mach 5 pigeon or revolve your back leg back. You can always slide a block underneath your left butt cheek, coming into your pigeon. Good. And then press yourself back up. And you're gonna revolve that back leg so that it's back into a straddle position. Adjust if you need to. Bring your right foot a little closer to your ankle and fold over that left leg again. The breath is like a massage from the inside out. The breath is like a stretch from the inside out. Good. And then rise back up, and this time bring the soles of both feet together. And pull the inside, the inner feet away from one another. Lift up your spine, inhale. And as you exhale, fold forward. You can clasp the top of your feet. Press your knees away from one another. And breathe into your hips, breathe into your lower back. On your inhale, rise back up. Come back to the all fours position here. And then take it down to your forearms and interlace your fingers. And step your feet back into a plank pose on your forearms, but then right away start to walk your toes in towards your elbows. So really press down into your forearms, lift up out of your shoulders. Try to press your shoulder blades towards the sides of your body, towards the front of your body. Good, and then bend your knees and come down. And so you're on your knees, lift up into a kneeling position. Toes are tucked underneath you. You press your pelvis forward as if you could really completely open up your hip creases. So these are our hip creases, right? We want to completely open them up, but not let our bellies pooch out, right? Like not compress into our lower back. So there's a sweet spot here. And then wrap your arms around behind you, grab a hold of your hamstrings, and try to touch your inner elbows together to send your chest up towards the sky. And it feels like your ankles, your heels are available. Place your fingertips on your heels. Lift your chest up towards the sky. Drop your head back if it's comfortable. And keep imagining from the center of the sternum, you're like that Care Bear. You're shooting the energy up and out. Good, so lift up, use your belly muscles, head and neck are the last to release. Drop your heels down into your drop your hips down into your heels and release into a child's pose. And just let yourself take up space here. Good, and then rise up onto your knees again. And we'll take one more round of Ustrasana, camel pose. So you can tuck your toes, but if you don't need to, you can keep your feet flat. This is if you felt like that first variation was pretty easy, then you can reach back, catch your heels, and send your chest up. Otherwise, stay with the hamstrings or stay with the toes tucked version. You want to find a place where you can breathe, open, explore, evolve. Allow breath to come in and massage from these areas from the inside out, releasing any stored tension. So using your belly muscles, head and neck are the last to come. Sit your hips back into your heels. Stretch your arms forward into that child's pose. friend. Take a moment to roll your inner thighs towards your outer thighs. You're really sitting up on your 2 sitting bones. Inhale your arms up to the sky. Feel as if you could lift your ribcage up out of your pelvis. And as you exhale, it's like your torso is a blanket. You're trying to lay that blanket down over your legs. You can always bend your knees. Creates a little bit of a different sensation, a little bit more stretch in our lower back. Rise up and make your way all the way down onto your back. Hug your right knee into your chest. Keep your left leg extended long. Extend your right arm out to the right. And slowly twist your right leg over towards the left-hand side. Allow your breath to stretch and unravel any remaining tension from the inside out. Let it be carried away on that smooth current of breath. Good, and then bring it back to the center. Give your right knee one last little squeeze. Trade it in for the left. Squeeze your left knee in towards your chest. Extend your right. Extend the left arm out to the left and slowly twist your left knee over towards the right. Let that breath erode any remaining tension from the inside out. Good. Slowly bring it back to the center. Give your left knee one last little squeeze. Add your right knee to the equation, squeezing both knees into your chest. Lift your forehead to try to touch your knees. Compress yourself into tight little balls. Take a deep inhale and squeeze everything in. Hold, hold, hold. And exhale, release everything. Let your body take up space on your yoga mat. Let your limbs become heavy. Let your body become receptive to whatever the prayer that you offered was. Whether that prayer is to people that you know who are suffering, people who you don't know who have suffered, the essential workers who are risking their lives, staying grounded in yourself, whatever your particular prayer was. Imagine every single cell and molecule of your body is becoming receptive and aligned with that prayer. All of the movement and breath that you created was bringing this prayer deeper into every cell and every molecule. And now is the time to rest and to let it be. To shut down the senses, let them withdraw. Find that inner reservoir of tranquility and peace. Take a moment to really embrace that place within you, that reservoir, that ability to bring it back down to neutral, bring it back down to baseline, which is peace, which is stillness. Take a moment and really embrace the stillness and the silence that resides at the core of your being. to move around a little bit. Maybe stretch your arms back behind you, stretch your legs out in front of you, wiggle your fingers, your toes, stretch into your sides. Do anything that you need to do to bring yourself into alignment with now moving forward, with now really owning and embodying that prayer, that intention. As you're ready, hug your knees in towards your chest. Roll off onto your right hand side and press yourself up to a seated position. Remember, if you're more comfortable sitting on a block or a blanket or a prop, make sure you take care of your body. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. And recall that intention and take this moment to give thanks. Take this moment to build upon the intention if there is more information or insight available to you now.